Hey, Sky.
Hey, what's up?
Nothing, girl. Nothing. Being busy as usual. What's up with you?
Life is just lifing, you know what I'm saying?
Oh my God. Yes. I hear that part. I
We're
hear
here
that
we're here
part.
trying to be the doing our show while we run around the world trying to live
Yes. Trying to conquer the world, I guess.
for real.
Work, being super mom, super workers,
Yeah,
poly pimps,
all that. All
friends,
that.
partners, all of it. Oh
Yes.
my God, I was just thinking about it um yesterday. And I was like, man, I am definitely saturated. Hey Maritza from Philadelphia. Thank you for joining in.
Maritza.
I was thinking, I'm like, whew, if such like
Yay.
overly saturated was a person, that would be right now. Because
Overly saturated.
yes. And I'm not just talking like as far as romantic connections or anything like that. It's just in life in general. And it's funny because some of my friends, hey D, hey Juan,
Hey, hey, hey. What's up, people?
some people are like, I don't know how you do it. I'm like, for some reason, I feel like I need every piece that's happening right now. Like, of course, I need my business because that's my breadwinner. So I have to go to work. I need to be the active mom with the kids. I need to be the entertainer with my music because I need that in my life. I need my poly pimp because that's my fix as well. I need that. That's my life.
Mhm.
And, so the podcast, that's added to it. And then on top of that, we're talking about different partners, different friendships. We're trying to maintain different connections. We're scheduling friends and I, like I have a group of girlfriends and we try to schedule, you know, our date nights, wives' nights, whatever we call them. And typically that takes us 2 to 3 months to finally find a date that works for everybody. So it's like, whew, like life is saturated right now. And sometimes I think about it, I'm like, do I even have room for new friends? Even though I want new connection, I'm like, do I really have new friends? So those new people that would be coming into my life would have to be very understanding, very patient, not needing as much of my time, as I guess most friends would require.
Right.
Do you have friends
I
like that?
I something we talked about earlier about the whole scheduling and the calendar thing. I'm
Mm-hmm.
implementing that like immediately, and it's really because staying organized is really important, and
Yes.
really like you can get so like you need to schedule like resting, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
it's like so now I just switched jobs and now I'm in the Atlanta commute.
Mm.
You know what I
Oh,
mean? Like before, I didn't have that for a couple of years, but
right.
now I have to get up earlier, get on the road, and it is like the rat race shit. I really can't. I really, really, really don't love that part of it.
Ah.
So yeah. So then when you come out, when people have to come home and like chill,
Yeah,
just because it feels like you've just been fighting battles out here,
exactly.
and it's like yeah, I'm feeling that right now because before I would come home because it was 5 minutes away and I would just be like, why are y'all complaining? But
Uh-huh. Now you're feeling it.
yeah, I feel it because that whole drive across the world to try to fight like a mountain of cars and people don't
Yes.
know how to drive.
Hmm.
Maritza says, pencil me in June 3rd and or 4th. Are you coming down to Atlanta? Come,
That would be nice, Maritza. I will have a drink or something. Like
come
seriously,
down.
for me though, if it's not in the calendar, it's not happening because
That's
my
yeah. Folks
little
need to get on the
ADD
calendar.
brain, yeah, it's
The
like I
calendar
won't
is life.
remember. Yes.
Yes, you're coming
Yay!
down. Yes.
All right,
Yes.
let's do
We're
it, Maritza.
summer has officially begun. So
Yes. And people are
I'm here trying
outside.
to text people in my phone to get on the podcast. I'm just going down the list. I know some people like never will get on because
They
just
don't
the
want to be
thought of
seen.
just the thought of poly pimp turns them off, but I'm just gonna turn them off till I turn them on. That's how I feel.
Okay,
So
the Hilton Atlanta, is it the one on Cortlandt Street? But yes, so anyway, tonight's topic, I am so excited to talk about it. And our guest tonight is a return guest. I wish we had time to get like even a guy guest on here tonight with this topic because there
oh,
are so many.
we can. Let's put
Okay.
the let's put the link up.
Okay,
So if you
yes.
want to pop on, if you're bold enough to pop on,
And talk about what we're talking about, participate, please, click on the link to join the studio. Let
you
me
might
put
want to
it on
post
my
it
end.
as
Yeah.
well. Yeah.
Okay. Um,
Some guys, they just like to hide behind a screen and stuff,
right.
but they always got something to say. They got a whole lot of thoughts.
And
They got
I
a
mean,
whole lot of thoughts.
some are allies, it's not, it's not bad or anything, not on every end. But yes, so tonight's topic is
Exactly. Exactly, Lee.
hey Lee. So women's sexuality, hot topic that we should not talk about, right? According to a lot of stuff, a lot of people, religion and all that stuff, even women, right? So I am very, very excited, and I hope you guys will chime in, participate, call, be on screen, type in your questions. But I really would love to see some people jump on the, in the studio
Yeah.
tonight.
Show
It
your
would be
face.
pretty cool.
You don't
Well,
even
you
have
don't
to
have to
show
show
your
your
face.
face.
You can just speak. You can just hear your voice.
Yes,
But
I would love to
if you
hear
want,
live.
show your face. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, live feedback. I think that would be great. Um, so yeah, what comes to mind when you hear women's sexuality for most people?
I think most people think of when as soon as you say women's sexuality, they think of them hoes out there. That's what they think of.
Exactly. Yes.
She loose. She loose. That's what
Wait.
they think. They
Oh
just think,
my God.
there's
She running
this
these streets.
she's out here.
Listen, that's one thing I was like, well, I mean, I've always been in these streets, but I literally just had a conversation with some of my partners. I'm like, all right, it's summertime and I'm feeling a different kind of vibe, different kind of energy. So I'm gonna be in these streets now, in these
Hey,
party streets,
that's the whole
dating,
truth.
connecting, doing all kinds of things. So I'm excited, and I think summer kind of brings people a different energy. People are ready to be out there, ready to mingle, ready to do fun stuff. So who knows what can happen? So, ladies, we're gonna be in these streets.
I mean, the whole thing about being in the street, right? It always sounds pretty scandalous,
Right.
you
That's
know?
why I like saying it. I belong to
Yeah.
the
And
streets.
guys get nervous and they just like, oh, I don't know. I don't know about Sky and Mitsu. They are extra, extra, extra crispy.
Crispy's always good. It's like, mm.
Exactly.
um, but yeah, so uh all right, Melly's on.
Hey,
So,
Hey
oh,
hey,
Melly.
okay.
can you hear me? Okay,
What's
Welcome,
good?
welcome.
hey. No,
You look so beautiful.
thank you, girl. I just pull everything back in a little ponytail for work. So I don't have to be on camera.
Hey girl,
Yeah.
how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Welcome to the shit show,
No, you should call that the good shit show. That's
The
what it
good
is.
shit show. Thank
And
you. Thank you.
it's you.
The good shit show. Jeremy, how are you ladies doing this evening? We are phenomenal.
Yes, we are great. We are
We are.
energized. We are the
Yes,
party pimps. We are in these streets.
Holly.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
dead.
But yeah, so we were just talking, Melly. Like I asked Guy, what comes to mind when she hears women's sexuality, and she's like, it's like everybody thinks about these hoes in these streets. Yes, Jeremy.
No, I mean, we all know as women and as men, as I would say, as progressive and prolific individuals, we know that there is a double standard. It's never going to stop, just like racism has the time. It's not going to stop.
That's
It's going
right.
to be there as long. It's been around since the end of time. It's always a double standard. I am the kind of woman, and here's the thing. It's funny. I'll be 46 in a couple months, but
Yes.
even now, and even in my 20s, I was just like, I mean, yo, what's wrong if I see somebody that look good? Hey, what you doing tonight? Okay, so I just want to smash. Don't blow me up tomorrow though, because you're gonna want to. If I want to call you, I will. Don't catch feelings. Don't expect me to, because I might not always. Every now and again, if I fall in love, it's definitely a little easier for me to emotionally connect with another woman, as I am poly and pan. So I mean, but I like all the people in all the parts, and it really is about. I'm more of a sapiosexual. So like, if you dig into my mind, you fuck my mind. You got well, you can at least have me for one night. That don't mean you got me forever. Because relationships are too
We'll
much
see how
fucking
far
work.
that goes, you know.
Oh,
We're not
but you
making no
know,
commitments.
there we go. And I used to meet people in my 20s because I've always been so straight in your face. And my mother and my bestie used to be like, why do you tell people so much? Because transparency is my superpower. If I
Yes.
tell you, you can't use shit against me. You're going to say something be like, I told you that. That ain't new shit.
Listen, Mary came ready tonight.
I
She's
said,
on
look,
fire.
when you say women's sexuality, this my bag.
Same. This is it. Happy
It's my
me.
like that. And I don't care if I want to fuck three different dudes in the same day and add a woman in there at night. I'm okay with that. It's just other people that have an issue. And when
Yes.
you do, then that means you're not fit to be in my circle. Because if you're going to bitch and not put your big girl drawers on or big boy drawers on, then you can roll. I ain't the one. Because I will hurt your feelings and ruin your life if you
Mm,
get too involved.
yes, ma'am. I
So
hear
don't
that.
tell
Oh
me,
my
don't
gosh, you
tell
are
me
giving
right,
me
girl.
all the life, all the
Don't
life
tell me that.
today.
Oh, I don't like that you do this. I wish you would be that. I'm sorry that you wish that, but know that who I am, it might get on your nerves, but if nothing else, I am consistent.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
All
Absolutely.
the way consistent. I'm
Yeah.
all the way consistently an asshole. But I have a great heart like a lion. I'm going to feed you, clothe you, love you, give you my last. But I'm kind of an asshole. And I'm okay with that too.
I love it. You are my superhero for
Girl,
real. Love
Yes.
it. Love it.
I have no, and
I
I
So,
love
mean, don't,
I
you
love a
know,
woman who is absolutely like unfuck withable. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
unfuckwithable.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
Don't get me
yes.
wrong, though, it does sometimes it will, like, for example, when I really started to truly live in my truth, poly, I used to tell people prior to poly, I was just a cheater. But you would never know. I just was. And you
It's
still got
true.
all your time and all the love, but it might have been four other people getting that too. But
Exactly.
now I think when I was transitioning to really owning it, I met a guy and I really loved him and he was Mormon. So, recently, maybe a month and a half ago or so, we broke up. But really, it was because I was not what he needed. And, some people, especially as adults, we don't really know what we're into until we're in it. You can have all the
Mhm.
love and all the feels in the world, but sometimes you can get in it and realize that some of the qualities that this other person possesses, you have to just really, as an adult, figure out what you can handle. And if I start to on this journey, I decide, you know what? I kind of can't deal with it if you do such and such and so and so. I might not be able to deal with that a little bit. I mean, I might say it's okay.
Mhm.
Oh,
Oh, she
did she get
froze.
stuck?
We don't
I
really
think
You
she
know,
know.
I was
froze.
just hoping my internet was working good tonight. You know what I'm saying? I've been shutting
Melly, you
off.
froze.
I've been
Okay.
shutting off
I heard.
all the
I heard.
internet usage on
Is
my
that
house
better?
so that it works here.
The
I'm about to
internet
turn
is
you.
messing with it. They're already like,
No.
now she's talking too much truth right
Too
now.
much service. Man, they don't want this. But like if you decide that it's not something you can handle, then I'm okay with you saying, you know what, this ain't what I thought it was gonna be. But what you're not gonna do is try to make me feel bad about my choices. Because I'm not.
That's right.
The voices
That's
in my head
right.
already superseded yours. So I mean the hell, what's your
Absolutely.
voice doing? But adding to the negative.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think the tragedy of society now is I think that there's just this battle of folks still wanting to live in like 1729 or something like that, and bringing all this traditional values bullshit to the table when women are viable, they're, you know, progressive. I mean, I hate to say I'm an independent woman, but it's almost like, you know, there I've seen some videos where they just take women that are independent thinking and progressive and blah blah blah, and they just roll them out on the street and put a steamroller and just say like you are not viable, you are trash, et cetera, et cetera. But yet and still, then when you start talking about, okay, well, let's live traditionally, right? Because really traditionally does not exist anymore. I mean, the fact that
Not in this
unless
society.
you are a man who is making like at this point,
$500,000 a year.
yes, at this point, I was gonna say
Depending on where you are, not even in California, right?
Probably in California, or in Atlanta sometimes, or in Philly where I am. So,
exactly. So what I'm saying is, unless you're a man that's making the high six figures, this is what I was gonna say, then you're not going to have a traditional situation because you're going to need her money and your money to combine forces to carry out this life for real. Mortgage, cars, vacations, life, just basic necessities.
right.
It's just not doable on one
No,
damn
no, one
salary.
job, one salary. You might even need a third, this unicorn that everybody's talking about, which really pisses me off because you took a really great mythical beast and you made it some shit that ain't shit. Ain't nobody trying to be a damn unicorn. But if you add a third person to the mix, triads in that aspect to me is great because we got three people to really rock out income, to rock out bills. And if I'm not feeling like sex tonight, you got another bitch over there. Go on.
Right. Exactly.
Or like a kid that works or something. It's just you need multiple hustles. And I feel like, people who have been outside the box with in regards to financial stability for a long time who've already thought about diversifying your income streams or creating more income streams. Now, most of us are getting on that page because it's like, this world, you can't, hell, you can barely buy damn eggs.
Exactly.
So, it's just, you definitely, I think, it's hard to really do that. And then most women, unless you're Mormon, no shade to the Mormons, but like, you're not gonna be like, hey, take care of all my bills. I got a couple sponsors and a job. I say sponsors, but we know what those are.
Yes.
And if I can't handle a bill, you can.
Hmm.
Yeah, but guys don't even really want, they don't really want to do that right now.
No,
They
no,
don't
no,
really
that's
want to do that.
why
And
mine's a girl.
at the end of the day, when you really look at it, men die first because they are killing themselves.
Yeah,
They're killing themselves trying to take care of this family on their own. You know what I mean? So let's
Exactly.
be real. Why can't we become partners or be a team
agreed,
and build this shit together? For
agreed,
those that want that.
Right.
agreed. You set those
And
parameters.
a lot of people do. It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it
You know
does.
what
Makes a
I'm
whole
saying?
lot.
So
And it
good
creates
evening,
equality.
Spellman. Is that what
Hey. Yes,
Spellman? That must
Spelman.
be one of your people because that last name looks a very bit French.
Uh, well, yeah, no, that's my people. Hey, Spellman. Yes. Hey, guys. Hey,
Oh
guys.
yeah.
Thank you for coming in. Remember, there's a link. If you want to join the conversation, you can just join by clicking on the StreamYard link to enter the studio and, have a little fun with us. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It definitely. I think it makes traditionality, or as we saw it, is different now. Really, what's traditional? That shit was boring. You know what I mean? I feel like when you share responsibilities financially too, it also presents a different level of equality in the midst of an argument. But I handle this, and so do I. You know what I mean? In those
mhm.
cases, it's reality. It happens. I will say this: my parents, super religious. I call them the good Rev and Deb. That's my parents. But I love them and they're awesome. But there's aspects of my life that I water down or don't even share with them. And where, I've had people say, oh, well, you are like not living your truth. Oh, I am. It's just why blow up their head and make my anxiety worse because they're going to talk shit to me if they don't like it. But they're good
Mhm.
old Christian and but they've been together 47 years, married together
Are they
47 years.
happy though?
They're very, I mean, stupid in love. It's almost nauseating, but I
Mhm.
love it. It definitely, now that they're older and I've moved back to the area where they are and I can see they're aging or they're getting more seasoned, moving a little slower. I definitely send out platitudes to the universe that when they go together because ain't none of us siblings gonna be able to handle one without the other. They've known each other since they were 2 and 4. They were engaged to other people in their 20s when they reconnected, dumped both of their fiancés and married each other. Love that. But my parents always, even outside of the religion, been outside the box in general in their own ways. So my dad was always for a strong man, very progressive, techie, all of that. But when we were kids, this would have been 30 years ago. My mother made more than he did. And he still would work 3, 4 jobs, but he was totally fine with sharing those financial responsibilities. And in the 90s, late 80s, that wasn't really as heard of. My dad worked a great job. I mean, he was a preacher, but he also was a teacher. My mom was a nurse anesthetist, and they make as much as most doctors. So it's kind of like they shared that, but they would divide their responsibilities would be in the house. My dad did more of the cooking and baking. He was better at it. But my mom would get us all ready for school. So it was like traditionally those roles that were traditionally encapsulated, especially for the black family, was very different in my house. And my dad made it clear to me and my 2 brothers, look, it's okay to balance those responsibilities financially. And I think that progressiveness that they had kind of segued me into how I view, that kind of building and sharing. Not so much relationships, but building and sharing.
Yeah, and that's how it should be because, like we said, nothing is traditional. And really, who makes those traditional rules? Really, like, and because we see it all the time in society. If we have a stay-at-home dad, everybody's just shaming him and thinking like, oh, the woman is settling for less because he's at home taking care of the kids. I mean, it's no easy job.
Huh.
But most people make a man feel less than just because they have to stay home. But to not get off topic, we're talking about women's sexuality tonight. um but yeah, so I mean, I see it all the time, women shaming other women for openly expressing how they like to be viewed or how they like to feel, talking about their sexuality, what they like, if they like to have a lot of sex or no sex. I mean, you get shamed for wanting no sex, you get shamed for wanting too much sex because like you can never make people happy. At the end of the day, it's you who needs to be happy, you who need to be comfortable in your skin. I mean, I mean, go ahead, ladies.
You
Sorry.
know, the funny thing about a lot of men though is they always want this like
Oh yeah.
virtuous woman who is like untouched and wearing white and just I'm picturing like this
Virginal.
pious woman, but
A lady in the street, but a freak in the bed, right?
no, they
No,
right. Well, they
by the way,
not on the street. I'm talking about they just have this. They just want a woman who's untouched, but then
right.
really what they really want a woman who has,
History.
yeah,
Yeah, and
Yeah.
who's
who's
comfortable.
been. I mean, can you imagine at whatever age folks are now that to be with a virgin
Oh,
is like you're not doing anything. Like there's
It's like the little meme that I posted yesterday or a couple of days ago about the body count, how the guy had 100 plus and then the woman had like 7, and he's like, oh, I can't be with somebody with that high body count.
mm.
And it's like the double standard, the audacity, right? um I kind of lost my train of thought, so go ahead.
no, but I remember
Yeah, yeah, go
someone had asked me about my body count
ahead.
number,
Mhm.
and I almost threw up.
You almost threw up because they asked it, or you were thinking about it.
No, because no one has ever asked me that before in my life. Nah,
Like, how dare you, really?
How dare
Honestly,
you?
if
really,
you ask
no one
me
has
for
ever
my,
asked me that in my whole life, and the thought that that is even a question is just
Was this person younger?
I would be
no.
like, I stopped counting at 100.
Girl, I don't even tell people what I stopped counting at because my stop count is like, what? So here's the funny thing about that. And two things, right? So when you were saying Sky, right? It's Sky, girl. I feel like over. I need to
Sky.
get my readers, but I ain't
Yes.
want to put them off with it. So what Sky was saying, like as far as men want somebody quiet. So my experience has been different. I look younger than I am. I for a long time worked with teenagers, so my dialect was very. Not saying I couldn't slip on a mask. I think that's the beauty of being melanated. We learned that early, sometimes by default. But I know how to slip that mask. But I won when I was in college. I went to a HBCU, and I remember had a whole little girl crew. I was like, I don't know, 19. I didn't start having sex till I was 18, 19 or so. And we'd be at parties and there'd be upperclassmen that everybody on the yard loved. And I tell my girls, and be like, yo, I'm going to get him. I'm going to pull him. And they're like, how? Like, really? He's a senior. So, and I look good. Who cares? So confidence is what people like. And I would walk up to them and be like, hey, what's up? Engage you in conversations, pull, you're interested, I'm interested. What's the plan for tonight? Really, you trying to come through? And then most of the time I hear, dang, I always wanted a woman like you that's just free with it, don't care. But once they have it, most of the time in my experience, now they crazy. I had somebody climb my roof, somebody stalked my phone, put a tracker on my car, like crazy stuff because
Oh, you put it
you
on like
don't
that, Mally.
it's platinum out here. But I'm just saying, like when that happens, it became dialogue like, yo, you already knew who I was. I told you my secrets. Oh, but you don't ever discuss your body count because you can't handle it. Not because I choose not to discuss it. I don't give a shit. You ask me something, I'm totally comfortable with my body count, totally comfortable who I am, what I do, who I fuck, how I do it. I don't care. But you can't handle it. And I, on the other hand, then cannot handle the conversations that will be constant as a result. And I had a guy that I was with at the time. My son was coming every other weekend. It's not my, he would be with my ex most of the time when he was a teenager. My son was in them streets a little bit at 15, and I was on the phone with a girlfriend of mine. I didn't know the guy that I was dating had already come in the house because I was in the kitchen putting stuff away on the balcony talking kiki with her. And she was like, girl, it always baffles me and makes me giggle. What's your body count again? But this is my girl. So we talking, unbeknownst to me, my child was in the hallway and the dude was in the bedroom and the door was open. I'm in a condo, it's not big. They both come out at the same time. I get off the phone. It was almost like, did they do a silent journey together? And they both came out in the kitchen, was like, your body count is what? And I was like, hello, dad number one and dad number two. Like, what is it? My son was like, so my dude got mad. He's an older cat. He always had attitude. He leaves. I'm like, whatever.
Wow.
So my son, he's like, I don't have nothing to say right now. I need to calm down. Go and calm down, because you can pull that rah-rah shit to me if you like. I fight. Come on. But my son sat with me.
Are you Aries?
I'm a Leo.
She's a
Leo.
Leo.
Fire.
Aries and Leo's both fine. Yeah. And then my son we sat down in the kitchen, and I was like, so what did you hear? And he told me, and I was like, okay. Now, the only time I cared is because it's my kid, and he's a boy child. And I don't, I needed to really address what he thought, not because I'm like, oh, he's going to think I'm a hoe, because he probably is. And we're going to dissuade him of that thought process now, so that when he meets women that get down like I get down, you're not going to shame her, because we're going to break this cycle. And we sat down, and he was like, yo, for real. He calls me gangster. He doesn't call me mom. So he says, gangster, I'm just saying, I call you gangster for a reason. And this just, it just verified it. He was like, I'm not even mad at you. He was like, on the one hand, I'd be like, it's my mom. But on the other hand, I already know who you are. You do what you want, and you don't carry any shame for anything. I mean, like, legit, I almost broke down and cried. I did in my room, because he saw me more than any other man saw me. My son looks at me, he said, look, dang, you like athlete numbers. I need to be sure. I was like, time out. Don't try to beat it. It's not a competition. And if you do try, however, I need you to make sure it's padded up every time, because y'all young niggas act like you don't know how to check your dick. So I'm gonna need you to make sure it's padded up. We had a conversation. I told him that women can just have the same amount of sex drive, if not more. And for women like me, once you hit your 40s, I feel like that shit goes on Zoom. Like, it's like, why am I horny all the time? I never did this, but why? I like why? Why? So
Mhm.
yeah, we had a conversation. It definitely, I feel like this generation of kids that are coming up now have a broader view of what things are and have no real true concept on traditionality. And they might change the world in so many different ways because
Right.
they're so wide open and don't care. And he was real cool about it. I mean, the dude is another story we ended up breaking up, but not as a direct result of that. But I didn't care. That just meant
Right.
he didn't need to be in my life. But yeah, that's I think the double standard is definitely real, and a lot of times men want somebody who's wide open and for the streets, but outside in public you don't look like you for the streets, and
Mhm.
whatever. You ain't pop locking and twerking and dropping it and what you call it, touch the ground with it and shit. I mean, you're not doing that everywhere you go. But they want to know that you're wide open because realistically, I don't have time or patience to be a teacher. So
Me
I need you to
neither.
match my shit or be close. Or at least like the teacher should be greater. I don't
We
know.
at least be close. Well, and that's another conversation I had too with a guy. Um, we were just talking about the whole body count thing, and he was agreeing with me. Like, so basically, you're trying to shame a woman because let's say she had sex with 7 men for the whole week, right? One different men each day, right? And then what's the difference if she had sex with her either boyfriend or husband 7 days that whole week?
Right.
She had the same amount of sex as the same amount of partners. Like, what difference? Like, you don't even know that there was somebody before you, even an hour before you, unless the
That's
person
right.
tells you.
No
Like,
idea.
how you gonna
Yeah.
know? And
Not a single idea.
exactly, they always act like, oh, this and that, but it's like, really, unless I tell you what just
Exactly.
happened, you won't even know. So shut
And I chose to
the fuck
tell
up.
you. And I chose to tell you. So I should get some kudos for that transparency. I'm
That's
just
right.
Exactly. But yeah,
That's
so of
right.
course, those people could not answer the question because there is no difference between sleeping with the 7 different people because they're talking about, oh, how they say, oh, this girl's going to be loose or whatever because there's too much going in there. Well, the husband went in there 7 times this week. It's the same thing. I mean, and my thing is, babies come out of there and it goes right back. It snaps right back to normal. Like, how you gonna be like that little thing is gonna
right,
make it like wide, sir? I'm
right.
sorry, you're not that special.
Right. A whole
Yep.
damn baby, big old head. And even if it don't snap all the way back, a little bit of vinegar and bath water will take care of that.
It actually really does. It actually really does. And it does very quickly, like within
Very
hours.
good. Okay. Whoop.
Oh,
You
what?
got
What? Tell me the story again. Vinegar and what?
vinegar. If you put it, I don't do baths till I do showers because baths just feel
Yeah.
like I'm hot and I'm wasting time that I could be doing something else. And but if when I'm trying to snatch it back or I know it's just a little sore or just a little bit tender, I'll do some hot ass bath water and like a couple capfuls, maybe like a quarter of a cup of vinegar. White, I mean the
Distilled.
apple cider vinegar is the best one. But like all of them work. Put that in there, soaking a little bit. Within 10, 15 minutes, that sucker tight as no babies came out. I ain't had biologic
There
babies.
you have it,
What do
ladies.
you
There
guys
you
think
have it.
about yoni steaming?
I haven't done the yoni steaming, but I used to go to Jeju and I did the steam bath a
Yes,
couple of times. Well, in our culture, I don't know because we are both Caribbean, Sky. After a baby, you have to sit. I mean, luckily, I didn't have a baby in Haiti, but after a baby, they make you sit on this big bucket of what you call it. It's a bunch of herbs, but that thing is like
It's the same
eating your
thing.
coochie.
It's the
It's
same
so
thing.
hot. Yes. I
Yeah.
mean, but that's
purified,
meant.
right?
Yes, that's mandatory after you have a baby. So you have to do so many of them. So it's supposed to help cleanse you and also snatch that baby back up. I don't know. But I've done it a couple of times at Jeju. I don't know if I really notice anything, but I just like the idea of doing it.
I think yoni steam. So here's the thing. our world has changed that has allotted for way more open conversations about things that used to be very taboo, right? So
Mhm.
cleaning the yoni or steaming the yoni rather. I'm cool. I like the fact that it's giving people more ways to snatch that pussy back without like full on rejuvenation, blah, 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 stuff that they do, right?
Right.
But it probably too, to me, I feel like it's on that self care regime, like getting a massage or going to a chiropractor or getting a pedicure
Yes.
or whatever. And I think it's really choice specific. For me specifically, the yoni cleans itself. And if she doesn't, then that means you need some antibiotics. But the
Mhm.
yoni cleans itself. So, like, really, I don't want to sit in a room if there's more than one person in there with my pussy on a bucket and you just watching me. That's also why I don't get bikini wet. So that's me. Not so much that I'm not open with being an exhibitionist, but that's more on the sexual end, on my care end. Like, please give me my time. Get away from me. Don't even come in the bathroom if we in a relationship when I'm wiping. Like you can talk to me while I'm going, but you gotta leave when I wipe. Like I don't know. Something
Well,
about
yeah,
that.
that's different. Yes, I don't want anybody watching me wipe. But
Yeah.
when I've done it, they put like a big skirt
Sheet.
around you.
Okay. Cool.
So technically, they're not really watching. I mean, it's just a bunch of people. Well, it wasn't a bunch, but
Having a
probably about like
conversation.
three, four women. Well, typically they don't talk a whole lot. Some women will
Mhm.
like exchange some
Good. That's
talks, but typically people just like relax because the steam is still kind of like it's a
coming up.
very relaxing atmosphere. So you have this big skirt that just covers you all the way down. And it was cool to me. I haven't gone there in a while, but I enjoyed doing it.
What's Jeju? What's that?
When you come down, maybe we'll make time to go. It's a day spa where you go, you get body scrubs, you get all kinds of things. It's a self-care kind of day. It's a
That makes sense.
24/7. Yeah.
You just said
So
day spa. That's all I needed to know.
it
Good.
it is pretty cool. You can take naps and things like that. So, but what was I saying? But yeah, so I mean, to me, the whole body count makes no sense, especially men. Men take sex as a sport, right? Because I remember I had a friend way back in Haiti. And one time he was like, "Oh yeah, if I'm offered pussy, I'm going for it." Like he's like, one day I remember I did a couple little rounds, and then somebody called me and offered some more. He said I was so weak I couldn't even walk, but I went and did it just because,
Right.
And it's like so. As a woman, if a woman did that, it should be seen as a oh my god, like
Right.
I like to tell people I'm insatiable, but I do go through periods of time where it's kind of like I'm chill. And then next month, it's like, all right, so how many do we have on the roster
Right.
today?
Right. Um, yeah, when I was younger, again, a lot changed for me after 40. Now, mostly because for me, part of my sexuality came from a different place. My parents were very religious, so as soon as I was 18, ready to go to college, I was like, how far can I go? So I ended up in Virginia. You know what I'm saying? Hampton University was very remote in the 90s. It was nothing but dirt in Hampton and the South Carolina. And so I was bored. So I was making my own fun, probably doing way more than I should have, sexually and some more shit. But I around 20, I had a homegirl that was in nursing school with me, and she was from East Orange, New Jersey. That's how she sounded to me. And she was like, "Yo, at that time I wasn't Melly, I was just Melissa. So Melissa, look, I'm about to dance." I was like, dance, like dance. I said, did you know I don't have good rhythm unless I'm making it up in my head. She was like, no, I mean like stripper. I was like, oh really? She was Amazon, great body. And I was like, okay. She said, come with me. I was like, for what? Some moral support just for my interview. Okay. I get in there. The two big ass dudes that ran it was like, yo, I mean, you dancing too? Hell no, nigga, you see how skinny I am? I was like 112 pounds. Like, what am I doing? I can't clap shit. What are you talking about? It's muscle, some dimples, and a tight ass body. I got a six pack that's bordering on eight, but I ain't got no fat, no booty. And he was like, don't matter, you so pretty, you coming here. So he kind of taught me into it. I was 20. I danced, was a private entertainer, escort, a dominatrix. I did that for 15 years. because the money was ridiculous. So, but then it kind of did something to me in personal relationships. So for me, when it came to women, I was way more emotionally connected, a lot more tears when I never cried, all that. But with men, I was the dude, but in a pretty package. I was very aggressive, not like pushy, but aggressive. And sex to me was a sport with a man, because in my work ish life, you was just money, but in my personal life, it was damn me fine. Let's see if I can bag it. It was just really a game for me. And
Yeah.
it could border on a couple of different people on a day just because I wanted to see if I could do it.
Right.
And then when I could, the challenge became less. So then as I got older and I really started to merge sex and love together and realize how much more invested I am in the interaction with the love, it changed. But even during those days when I saw it as sport, I would have plenty of men that would try to shame me. The good part is I was always very secure, even if sometimes I had some little doubts. You
Mm-hmm.
were never going to shame me because I was going to read you for filth, and I was going to make you want to choke me because my words hurt so bad. Because you're not going to make me feel bad. I feel like that's shitty for women, and I don't care about the double standards. So I've always lived that, even in the 90s. It was a lot harder then. Now it's a little easier because people are a bit more progressive, even when men still are on that. You got 7 people, you got 7 people. In 20 years, bro, that's less. You want
Right.
somebody to
Yes, exactly.
you want somebody to know what they're doing.
Sky, we can't hear you.
Muted.
I think it's doing it now.
Yeah. You froze a couple times too.
Her computer does something now. I think every 45 minutes to an hour, it like we can't hear her, and she has to like restart. There she goes.
And then she
So Rudy asked, I wanted to wait for Sky to come back, but I'll put it on the screen as for now. What is Rudy asking us? Hey Rudy, thank you so much for joining. He's a very dedicated fan, and I we love you on here. We love your questions.
already. He said, wow, before having sex with a man, do you tell him what turns you on or off? Are you into BDSM, voyeurism, swinger? Me specifically, or all of it? For me,
Mm-hmm.
I it's hard because now at this stage in my life, I don't want to be a teacher. Like I don't want you to get in it and be like, nope, go to the left. Wait, that's hurts. You're going in the pocket. That's wrong. I don't want to
Right.
do that. I'm gonna give you the basics of what I do and I don't like.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna let us explore and see what happens. For me specifically, BDSM, I was a dominatrix for a while, but I was younger. And then recently, maybe I don't know, 3, 4 months ago, I joined FetLife because my intention was to join FetLife, start my OnlyFans, and dom people online because it's a different world now. I can make a different level of money without ever having to touch you, which is
Mm-hmm.
cool. The only thing that deterred me from that, I'm still BDSM-ish. I'll call myself BDSM light. I have
Mm-hmm.
some kinky ways, but some of the things are not for me. But I don't shame nobody who it is.
Right.
But the dom thing felt like that on my nerves because in like 2 weeks I had 1,400 hits. They were messaging me all the time
Oh my
because I
God.
said in my profile to call me madam or goddess. I got 80 messages a day saying, "Hello, madam, can I be your
Hello,
sub?" No,
Gaddis.
you're getting on my nerves. Like some of them would text me, message me 50 times in a day. The same
Mm-hmm.
person. And I'd be
Yep.
like, you know what? I have to close this because I'm gonna cuss you out, and then I'm gonna feel bad because I'm a nice person. And then plus some of the things that people were into on BDSM are not for me. Like I don't do paint, I don't do race play, I don't do that animal play, pet play, or whatever, and I
Right.
don't like age play. So a lot of them want to
Okay.
call me mommy and sit on me and do this. I'm not comfortable with that because I have an
Right.
18-year-old kid and it feels weird for
Right.
me. Voyeurism, the other part of your question, Rudy, I am not a voyeur. I don't really like porn doesn't turn me on, it makes me laugh. I mean, there's one specific kind that turns me on, but it's not something I share with straight men because it's really man on man. That's the only thing I like. I don't know why. It's just the way my brain is wired. The only one that doesn't make me giggle uncontrollably like a 15-year-old boy. But like I'm not if I've gone to sex, I've been to like a sex club maybe twice. I am not a just watch people in rooms because that doesn't turn me on. It makes me want to go to sleep. Um, I would rather do when you watch me. And when I've been with people and they're like, "Oh, we can record ourselves and watch it," we can record ourselves and you can watch it when I go to sleep because I don't want to see me. I don't even want to hear me. When I sing, I don't even like hearing myself sometimes.
It's not as sexy
So
as we think it is.
not. It don't. I'm like, I don't want to watch myself because when I'm watching me now, I'm like, bitch, you could have sucked in your stomach there. And damn, that face is ugly. And why does it look like that? I'm too critical of me, so I can't watch me. And Swinger, it's funny because there was a very interesting, very deep, got a little bit extra, comment or chat post in the group, um, PB&D, and they were talking about how people's poly ain't polying. You can't tell nobody what my poly is. Swinger for me, prior to poly, I was interested in because that was the only way that I could get the people I dated to want to share me if I was sharing them too. I don't
Hmm.
give a shit because for me, in relationships prior to poly, I didn't care if you cheated, just that you didn't lie. I mean, shit, go out and get some. Boo, get it. Get what you get. Know that I got a free pass and I can do the same. But most of the
Exactly.
time, they was
I
that
think it
one.
might be a Leo
I don't think that's called
mentality.
cheating.
It is. It is. What you say?
It's not called cheating.
It's
Right.
not.
Well, because that's something I always tell people because I see women cry and suffer so many times because their men cheated on them. I'm like, I will pay a motherfucker to cheat on me because it's kind of
No.
like, yes, you're giving me like the okay to just do what
Right.
I've been thinking all along. So I dare you, go
Right.
ahead and do that, honey. I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna dance. I would say thank you so much and keep it
Thank you.
moving and keep
Thank
it
That
you.
is
Kept it
moving.
moving.
hilarious.
Yeah,
Yes.
because
I told
I
dudes,
don't play
I'll
that
pay a girl.
game.
I'll have a girl. I don't mind if you have another bitch suck your dick because I'm not. I don't want. I mean, I might every now and again if I'm in the mood or I've had enough drinks. But it's not that I'm not good at it. It's just not my favorite thing. It's not the
Right.
prettiest thing. No offense, man. It's just not pussy's prettier. But and it speaks a little better too. It's not gagging the fuck out of me. Sorry, like that. But I mean, I'm just if you. I've had guys be like, "Yo, I mean, you're not gonna be mad. My family and my mama think it's a setup. That's because your mama don't know me. Let me talk to her. I bet you she won't. Because it ain't a setup. I'm not setting you up for that's stupid. And that's childish shit. And do I look childish?
Exactly. Yeah.
Bitch
So
suck the fuck out of his dick, put
was
him to
this
sleep so I don't have to fuck.
was this question answered when I was gone?
Well,
Yeah, he has
Melly was answering, so I'm gonna
Okay.
take my turn to answer.
Okay.
I mean, personally, I always talk sex with partners, anybody that I plan to engage with, because at this point in my life, I know what works for me. I'm not saying you can't come up with a trick that might work, and I'm like, oh, all right, I'll add that to my bag of tricks. But typically, we will have a conversation, just like we're going to have conversations about everything, the future and all that stuff. Sex is part of the conversations, part of the conversations that I have with somebody that I choose to engage with. So yeah, we will talk about what I like, what I don't like, what I'm willing to try, what I'm not willing to try, what I'm okay with, and all that. And I like people who are very open minded and not so closed off. But if you are, that's fine. Our sex life will be just very limited and maybe vanilla, because I can have fun wherever, whenever I need to. As long as we connect and are compatible, I think I'm good with that. Um, so are you into BDSM? I don't know that I can say that I'm fully into BDSM, but I definitely have a few little kinks, that I like to play with and think about things that I may want to try. Voyeurism, yes, a definite yes. I can sit there and watch. I prefer live action. I'm not into like watching porn on TV. Like to me, porn is so boring. It's always the same thing, the same lame story, same lame position. I'm like, I can do that.
too
It's
much
like
storyline.
exactly. I'm like, it's so cheesy. I'm not interested.
Mm-hmm.
But give me live action. I'll sit here and watch and clap for you if need be, whatever.
Yeah.
So,
Cheer you on.
yeah, I'm definitely God, he didn't put that. I can't find the word right now. Like I don't mind people watching me either, depending on the setting. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
thank you. And then swinger. So this is a conversation I had recently with a partner. I'm like, I don't see myself as a swinger. I've never done it, and as I'm getting older, I realize that that is not really what I want, because in that scene, I personally feel like there are some people that will have access to me that I would never give access to in real life, and I do not want to put myself in that position. So it's like, nah. I understand for some people they're okay, just like they do it and then they keep it moving. They don't have to have any ties. But um just for me, it's not the kind of scene that would work. Now I could go to a swinging party. I've been to a couple of swinging clubs and sex club or whatever. Just kind of watch. But if I'm going to like a swinging party or scenery, I would definitely prefer to go with my partner and just have my person there with me and see what happens. But most likely, yeah, I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I get that. The voyeurism thing, I will change that. I like voyeurism in the sense of I damn sure love to go to a strip club. Mostly now because I'm older and my body don't do the same thing, and I some of the shit that bitches do on the pole is magnificent. Like it leaves me awestruck, like awestruck, slightly wet and awestruck, but like damn, you did that, like damn.
I know some moves I see people do. I'm like, wow, I wish I could do that.
Girl, I'm gonna get a pole in my house. I'm going to. I'm gonna hit that shit like P Valley. If I don't break a hip, I mean,
Damn.
You
that's
better
all I
buy the
gotta
life
do on
alert. Get the life alert first.
right. Girl, imagine that life alert call now. I'm falling and they come to my house and they see why I'm falling. I got on 6-inch pumps and I'm laid out on the floor twisted in them. That's fine.
Wow.
I need
Wow.
a rapid life alert.
I know like we're all women of age and getting older, and I know that a friend of mine, she's about 10 years older than I am, and I'm older than both of you. And her libido went down, and she got hormone replacement therapy, where she got I guess a shot of estrogen,
After menopause.
progesterone, and testosterone in whatever formula that worked for her body through some blood testing and stuff.
Woo, you
And
fucking
she
right.
said it was like the magic pill because her sexuality came back.
Yeah. It will. It will.
And yeah, until that whatever the dose was, until it goes out of her system. Yeah. And so, a lot of women as they get older, they lose that vibe, you know what I mean? Because
Mhm.
it's not really like baby making season anymore.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
that's a reality.
It is.
Yeah.
And after menopause, like excuse me, I had hysterectomy 6 years ago. So like I was already kind of early hot flashing, like in 30. Like my doctors were like, wait a minute, I'm 32 and I'm like, this is hot all the time. And I'm usually cold, like what's happening? And it was hard for them to really hone in because my family are early menopause starters. But like after you really kind of you're perimenopausal or pre or even enduring after my hysterectomy, it definitely like now I have ovaries. So it's like I have PMS and hot flashes. It's stupid, but it's you know, the changes that happen to your body post-menopausal, like right now, your 40s, the whole 40s, your libido is through the fucking roof, like more than it was in my 20s. But my yoni, she don't always cooperate with the fucking game. Like I'm feeling you, and you might be kind of moist on the inside, but the going in is like, bitch, wait, get some lube because all of that shit, you kind of get drier, and it doesn't. I know I've heard of women with the HRT, the hormone replacement therapy. The only reason why that I'm not necessarily on board with that is because I was a nurse for a long time as well, and I feel like any chemicals that we put in our body. Not saying that they can't work. I'm not anti meds or chemicals, but sometimes they cause other issues. So now my body is reliant on that. So just like with her, if it's gone down, her libido's going down after that shot wears off, kind of like a cortisone shot. If you've ever had carpal tunnel or
Right.
tennis, once it goes away, now you need it almost more because it feels
Hmm.
worse than it did before.
Hmm.
I'm a firm believer in herbal fucking yoni steams and really what you call it
Natural remedies and
and what's the thing that I said I was going to get them
yam,
because
wild yam.
yoni, no, yoni eggs.
Oh,
Uh,
oh yeah, I got a slew of those.
I need those because
Yeah.
after his connecting me, your bladder ain't the same, and we getting it good. And I'm like, wait a minute, is that G spot hidden? Am I gonna pee? I'm not really sure what's about to happen. I'm not. Let me figure out how to do that. So like that's where I am. But there are days where emotionally my drive is like, nah. But it's mostly because if there's other things going on in my life, my finances aren't right, or I'm on this business mind, and I'm like, shit, I need to that's on my page because I need everything to be in order for me, for my brain to not spin enough to be emotionally connected enough to actually, because I don't typically, I have difficulty orgasms with penetration. You got to do some other shit with it. There's
Mm-hmm.
got to be some other finger somewhere, a rabbit, or something in the mix for me to actually have an orgasm
That's
off
most
the
women, though. That's most women.
Mhm.
correct. So I think when you get older, 50, and above, I think might change it. But I met this lady the other day and she was 70. And she was like, and she looked like Angela Bassett fine. Like, I was like, you
Mm.
what? Like, how? Like, you like girls? And if you ever do, I mean, shit, you 70. You want to try some new shit? Because we can have a good on fucking time. But she was gorgeous. Her body was fit. She did powerlifting. I mean, like ridiculous. Exactly the body that I'd be like, oh my god. And she said her libido because she lifts gives her a whole different level of adrenaline that makes her turned on a lot. I was like, at 70, bitch, you doing it because that's not usually how it works for us.
Right.
Mhm. Yeah. There's a question, Rudy. I need to put on my glasses. I don't know why I'm acting like an old lady.
It says, what have you tried for you? Me too, sorry. What have you haven't tried and would like to? Have you guys ever started having very strong feelings for one of your partners? What do you do at that point?
Oh, that's two different things going on.
Yeah, it is.
Um, I don't know. I feel like at this point in my life, I have tried almost everything that I wanted to. I may wake up tomorrow and I have a new thing come
There's
up
a
and
new
say,
trick on
yes.
TikTok.
But I have done pretty much everything I wanted to do in my life, in my sexual life right now. So have you guys had any feelings? Okay, so yes, I am okay. So one of my partners, I like fell madly in love with him, and I'm still very much in love with him. And I do love my partners.
I think we need to back up on that question, that second question, because have you guys ever started having very strong feelings for one of your partners? Isn't that what polyamory is anyway? So
Well, yeah.
I think
let's
he's probably
like
asking something else. I think if I'm not mistaken, Rudy, correct me. I'm thinking the question is more so about have you ever started having very strong feelings for one of your partners where it's more strong for one than it is for another? Is that what you mean?
that's what that needs to be clarified, because to me it's giving
Come off mute, is that
it's to me it's giving that there is no awareness there that polyamory is
about
for
strong feelings?
having strong
Well,
feelings
yeah.
for your partner.
Hmm.
That's what I'm getting. So Rudy might need to clarify that, because we are the poly pimps and we are
Right. Oh,
Rudy, come back, because there's another question. Come back, Rudy.
yeah.
Spellman, in your perspective, why do women, not all women, like to be choked during sex?
Oh, I like that question. Um,
Spellman. I
He said not all women. How do you know?
well, volunteer experience, we'll say. I would say this. I mean, you want to take that, me too?
Mm-mm. You go ahead.
I think so. Here's the thing. I think from my experience, and it's pretty vast, but I date women and I am a woman. But I think the choking part previously in earlier years, 90s and so forth, early 2000s, it was more the women that were a little bit older because you tried everything. It's kind of like sliding into BDSM after vanilla all the time because you need like an extra push, right?
Hmm.
Something else to get you there. And usually women that are over 35, I'll say, over 35, have really tried enough and have slightly been choked enough to know that that can be a good thing. Kind of like I think the women who might not like to be choked during sex either haven't experienced it, or on the other end, they experienced it in a way that was too extreme. Like, bitch, don't choke me out. Like, notice the safe words or tap out. Bitch, I'm tapping out. Like, yo, don't choke me while I'm hanging off the bed. I might just pass the fuck out. And if you got asthma, shit, you got to be careful. Or if they're a larger woman with bigger boobs, all of those things can be a dying factor.
Right.
But I think that it's that question can be best answered like for kind of like, so as I was a dominatrix, most of my subs were very powerful men outside of their sex life. So like in their work life or in their home life, they are the fucking alpha, even though I don't like using that word as much, but the one in charge. They're used to giving all the directives and all that shit. But in the bedroom, they become a sub, calling me madam, gag ball, all of that shit, because anybody that's in a position of power in their regular life every now and again wants to feel vulnerable. And I think you can flip that to women who like to be choked. Women, since the beginning of fucking time, whether you white, black, or purple spotted, women handle so much. Now, men that are progressive enough to understand, women, we take on every fucking thing. We take care of the partner, we take care of the house, we take care of the kids. We not saying that your partner doesn't balance it, but so much we do really revolves on us, sometimes being last if we're thought of at all of ourselves from ourselves. So
Mm-hmm.
being choked gives you a different level of heady rush, you know what I'm saying? And vulnerability. Even in those moments, I go hard. I cry now at like sappy shit, like a TV show or them fucking dog commercials will get me every time. But like, but when it comes to my regular life, ain't gonna be no tears in life. Fuck baseball. It ain't no tears in my life. We gotta get this moving. But in the sex room, when I'm being choked, I get to be vulnerable and I'm trusting you enough with my vulnerabilities. Thus, I'm trusting that when you choke me, you're not gonna choke me the fuck out or kill me. Just it's giving me that level, I think, of vulnerability that makes you more turned on. Because when I feel vulnerable, I feel sometimes more emotionally connected enough
Right.
to really have an explosive orgasm. And that choking shit does something. It shuts off the literally from a healthcare perspective, it shuts off some of the oxygen and blood flow to your brain, which triggers and tricks your brain to be like, bitch, this feels good. And I might have an orgasm off of penetration this time around because I'm not dying and it's still cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's my perception at least.
Good
Yeah.
explanation. Rudy
Yep.
came back. Rudy came back with the one that you were saying,
Oh.
more feelings for one
Yeah,
versus
I
the
was
other.
right. Ding ding. Okay. I'm on it, Rudy.
I can't say it's more feelings for one versus the others. It's different feelings for
Yeah.
one versus the others, you know?
Yeah.
Sometimes you may be feeling apples and then other times you may be feeling oranges.
I like that.
That's just how
Sometimes
it is, you know?
eggplant.
It's
My
not
whole lemon.
necessarily
Yeah.
right.
Sometimes it's
So
a cucumber, sometimes it's an
Yeah!
eggplant.
I can't really. Cucumbers and eggplant. Stop. You're gonna make me want to find somebody for that.
Carrot stick, you know.
I can't even look at a cucumber without thinking of something sexual. That's so terrible. I don't even eat them bitches.
I do like cucumbers.
I'm allergic. No.
But yeah, I wouldn't say it's more than the other. It's just different,
I agree with
different
that.
energy.
I agree with that.
Yes, and sometimes it's kind of like I'm really feeling this energy today. That's what I need around me
Yeah,
because
yeah,
all my connections are very different. Some I'm like girly, and others I'm just kind of like wifey.
yeah.
Others it's like I don't know what I am. Like
Sorry.
what am I today?
Yeah.
I think it's probably the thing about that I love about polyamory. It's a couple of things. One, the transparency, because I've always been transparent, but living poly allows me to meet others that are also transparent, and I like that because no shade to the men, but men like to hide secrets. Women were really good at it, but men hide things that you don't even need to hide. Like men hide shit you don't need to hide. Like, why was that a fucking secret, dude? Like, why?
Yes.
That shit wasn't no
Yes.
secret. Like, because I think it's all about too. Again, like that book back in the day, Men Are from Mars, Women from Venus. We think differently about different things. It's just a fact. But like I think with poly, like, right now I currently just have one legitimate boyfriend partner. He's long distance, and what I need from him is a lot of conversation. But I'm praying and hoping that when we finally do meet face to face, that the sex will be great because the rest of it is awesome. How he's shown up for me when others really haven't. And then, like here locally, since I came back here, I haven't really ascertained a local partner, but there are people I'm vetting. And then there's a woman that I talk to every now and again. And I really, 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 my feelings for her are strong, but in such a different direction. Like, I want to just, like with her, I can see, damn, I want to go out. I want to have fun. I want to be in sex clubs. I want to fuck people's heads up because we dance with each other real close. Then go home, fuck the shit out of her, and lay and nuzzle and just lay in those big old fluffy boobs that she sits on. I'm just saying, that's all I does. I mean, I really, and our conversations are sporadic because she's a very busy woman. But I like them because they give me what I need, especially because I'm into astrology and I'm a Leo, and this woman is also a Leo. So I
Mm.
think it's intuitively and as an empath for me, and her being a bit of an empath, it's almost like she knows. She texts me on the moments where I'm just having a day where like, fuck these motherfuckers, fuck these niggas, fuck these technology, fuck these animals, fuck everything right now. And then she calls me, I'm like, I'm a giddy little person. I don't show her
Mhm.
all the giddy all the time, but because I gotta say,
Wow.
but like again, I think with poly, the beauty of it is you can have a wide variety of feelings that are different per partner, per day, per minute,
Yes.
really.
That's right.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
that's okay.
That
yeah,
is
okay,
perfectly okay.
yeah, awesome.
Mhm.
Well, ladies, I have definitely got
Yes.
to go. This
Well,
was fun.
yes, thank you everyone who came on. Thank you, Melly, for
Yes,
saying yes. This will be the last time because
I
and
know. I
everybody
love
loves
you.
your energy here with the poly
Yes.
pimps.
Well,
Absolutely.
come on, bring your ass to Philly if you love my goddamn energy because the bitch could use a local.
I
Definitely.
know, right? We will definitely go up. Well, Maritza's coming down, so she's from Philly, so you should come down with her. You guys drive down to the poly
Okay.
pimps. No, she was just on the chat. So we're like, yeah, just come down.
Marissa's
Um,
from Philly.
Yes,
yeah,
she's in Philly. She's coming down next in a couple days.
She's a poly pimp too. Let
Next
me
week.
find her. Let me
Hmm?
find her. Can you hit
she
that up?
usually
My girl.
tunes in.
Uh-uh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see you guys in a couple of weeks. Don't remember you can always send us requests for topics. Remember to follow our pages. Like we promised, we will consolidate very soon, but we are all over the place right now. So,
We're streaming now from like 4 or 5 channels, so that's why.
yes, all of it. So
Yeah.
I
thank
love
you,
it.
Lee. Thank you. Stimulating discussion. So
I
we
love
will
it.
come back for more Poly Pimp talks with Me Too and Sky. And Melly will join us sometime in the future again. Thank you guys. Have a good night.
All
Y'all have a good
right.
one. Bye.
Bye.
Peace.